Hey guys, Chicky DeMaine, aka DeBud.com with a surf forecast update. This surf forecast update brought to you by Nassar Paradise Rentals, NassarFishing.com. Remember guys, there's no sorrow when you stay in no sorrow. Contact Craig Sutton and plan your trip today. All right, here's what we're looking at guys. Models have changed up just a little bit, but it looks like we've got some increased activity coming that should increase surf heights. I did see on Swell Info this morning they were showing a little bit bigger bump on Saturday, but here's what it's looking like in this afternoon's run of the GFS model forecast. This is for Thursday. We're going to start to pick up on a little northeast flow in here off the southeast U.S. coast on the backside of this area of low pressure and this next front moving through. In 48 hours on Friday, you can see that there's a little bit trying to pinch of the gradient in here off the southeast U.S. coast. There'll be a little bit of lingering low pressure in here, and this is what the model was showing the other day in our previous forecast of low pressure off the southeast U.S. coast. They backed off that a little bit, but we still have a northeast flow coming in here, about mid to the Outer Banks in here down into Florida. Could get a little stronger on Friday and Saturday, depending on whether or not there's an area of low pressure that tries to develop off the East Florida coast. 72 hours now, we see this area of low pressure lifting up a little bit with the pinching of the gradient in here towards the Outer Banks. This is going to increase some easterly fetch in here and still possibly keep some northeast fetch in here aimed at the Florida coast. Where it starts to get exciting is again at the end of the forecast run. And for those of you who have not followed us, anything outside of 72 hours is suspect at the moment. So as we get into Sunday, you can see that we clear out, high pressure begins to settle, and we should have some clean surf in here. Looks like Saturday or Sunday could be at least in the waist to chest high range, possibly bigger depending on what happens with that low off the East Florida coast. But you do see that it's now drawn out here towards the central Atlantic. On Wednesday is here we get excited again as we've got a very strong tight pressure gradient coming off the U.S. East Coast all the way down in here towards Florida. Want to back up just a second for the Gulf of Mexico followers. There is a possible little southerly suck up coming probably Sunday into Monday. The gradient's going to tighten up a little bit here before it switches totally back around when we get back through this progress and Wednesday of next week. As the front slides through, everything turns around back to the northeast, but as you can see, it bombifies up in here off the northeast states. We are seeing it in the swell models now. Swell models, this is for, I believe, Saturday or Sunday, and you can see that there's a nice northeast fetch stretched in here towards the southeast, towards Florida, towards the Bahamas, and then trying to make its way towards Puerto Rico. It does not look like at this time there's going to be any swell, and at least any meaningful swell to make it that far south. But there still is possibility for some surf alert coming up for this weekend, and even better midweek of next week with a tight northeast pressure gradient. Stay tuned for the next forecast.